Hello students, welcome back to my class. I am Muhammad Asim, your English teacher at Shubhraj Singh Children Academy. Today I am going to teach you phrases, clauses and sentences. So today's topic is phrases, clauses and sentences. First of all, let us see what is a phrase. Phrase is the part of a sentence which give us a sense but not complete sense. Phrase is a part of a sentence which gives us the sense but not complete sense. For example, we can say in the field. The red fort. On the table. Etc. So the words that are used combinedly are called the phrases. They give us a sense but not complete sense. So this is called the phrase. Now let us see the second one, that is clause. What is a clause? Clause is a part of a sentence which contains a subject and a predicate like a sentence. Clause is a part of a sentence which contains a subject and a predicate, and it gives the sense. But clause tells us that there are also other clauses that make the sentence full, it will give the meaning by joining some other clauses. Without joining some other clauses, they may not be possible to give the meaning. So we can say that clause is the part of a sentence in which we add subject and predicate, but it is not the full sentence. For example, people who pay their debts are trusted. Who pay their debts? This is the clause. This is one clause, and the other clause is people are trusted. So this is the main clause. Main clause can complete its sense alone. For example, people are trusted. But the clauses can be divided as subordinating clauses and coordinating clauses. If there are coordinating clauses, the clauses can give their meaning separately. But if there is any subordinate clause, the subordinate clause will not complete its meaning without joining with the main clause, with the principal clause. For example, in this sentence, people are trusted are the principal clause, and who pay their debts is the subordinate clause. So this is a clause. It has subject and predicate. It has subject and predicate. This is a clause. This is the part of a sentence. So this is the difference between phrase and clause. Now let us see the sentence. The third one, that is sentence. A group of words which make complete sense is called the sentence. For example, we can say the book was on the table. The book was on the table. This is complete sentence. It complete its sense itself. It doesn't need any helper to complete its sense. That's why this is the sentence. This is the clause because it is used in a sentence and it gives only the sense of a part of sentence. So this is the difference between phrase, clause and sentence. Now we can see that in this sentence we have subject and predicate. In the predicate part we have also a phrase on the table. It gives a sense but not complete sense. On the table gives us a sense but it does not give us the complete sense. That's why this part of the sentence is phrase. It is used in a combination. So phrases, the words which are used with a combinations are called the phrases. They give us a sense but they don't give complete sense. And a part of a sentence with a subject and a predicate, a part of a sentence, not a sentence, a part of a sentence which gives in which we use subject and predicate are called the clauses. For clauses we must have a subject and a predicate, but for phrases we don't need any subject. It can be made up of without a subject. Phrase can be made up of without a subject, but clauses and sentences can't be exist without the help of a subject and a predicate. So these are the differences between phrases, clauses and sentences. Now let us see the sentence in detail. So the main topic is sentence. Sentence, as I told you, is a group of words which give us the complete sense. The group of words which give us the complete sense is called the sentence. Now let us see, I have told you the example of sentence just now. Now let us see the kinds of sentences. Kinds of sentences. There are 5 kinds of sentences. We can divide the sentences into 5 kinds. Number 1, assertive or declarative. Number 2, interrogative. Number 3, imperative. Number 4, exclamatory. And number 5, optative. So there are 5 kinds of sentences. Sentences can be divided into 5 kinds. Number 1, assertive or declarative. Number 2, interrogative. Number 3, imperative. Number 4, exclamatory. And number 5, optative. Now let us see the first one. The assertive can also be divided into 2 subparts. Number 1, affirmative. And number 2, negative. Affirmative and negative. Affirmative means he reads a book. We can say he reads a book. This is affirmative. And negative, we can write he does not read a book. This is negative. So sentences can be divided into 5 kinds: assertive or declarative, interrogative, imperative, exclamatory and optative. Now let us see the kinds of sentences one by one. So the first kind is assertive or declarative. We can say that assertive sentences are the sentences which make statements. The sentences which only make the statements are called the assertive sentences. The assertive sentences may be affirmative or negative. The assertive sentences may be affirmative or negative, and they only make the general statements. For example, we can say the book is on the table. The book is on the table. This is general statement. So this is assertive sentence. This is affirmative. In assertive sentences, negative sentences also included. Affirmative plus negative is equal to assertive. For example, we can also say that the book is not on the table. If the sentence is affirmative or negative, it means thus that sentence is assertive. If there is only general statement, there is only the statement of any person regarding any person or anything, it means that is assertive sentence. So this is the example of assertive sentence. Now let us see the next. Now let us see the second one. The next one. The next one is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. What is an interrogative sentence? Can you answer me? Try yourself, first of all, try yourself. Okay. Now let me explain it. The sentences which are used to ask questions are called the interrogative sentences. The sentences which are used to ask the questions are called the interrogative sentences. In assertive sentences, we use full stop in the end. In assertive sentences, we use full stop in the end, but in interrogative sentences, we use question mark in the end of the sentence. In interrogative sentences, we use question mark in the end of the sentences. For example, we can say, where are you going? Then question mark. This is a sentence that is used to ask the question. That's why this sentence is interrogative sentence. Were you absent? In this we are also asking the question. That's why this is also interrogative sentence. In the end of the interrogative sentence, we use full stop. We use question mark. So you must remember, whenever you are going to write the interrogative sentence, you must use the question mark in the end of the sentence. and interrogative sentences are used to ask the questions. Now let us see the next third one. The third one is imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. The sentences which are used to ask, which are used for request, command, order, etc. are called the imperative sentences. The sentences which are used for asking permission, the sentences which are used for request, command or order are called the imperative sentences. We start the imperative sentences directly with the main verb. If the imperative sentences can also be negative sentences. If the imperative sentences are negative too, then we use don't, then the main verb of the main verb. So we start the imperative sentences with the main verb. The subject you is always hidden there. We don't write the subject because the subject is always you, and we don't write you in the imperative sentences. At the place of writing subject, we start with the main verb. If the imperative sentence is also negative, we use don't, then main verb. For example, we can say go there, and we also use full stop in the end of the imperative sentence. Here the subject you is hidden, but we don't write the subject. If the sentence is negative too, then we use don't go there. If there is request, we can add please open the door, full stop. And in the end of the sentence we use full stop. So these are the examples of of imperative sentences. In imperative sentences we write the imperative sentences directly with the main verb. We don't write the subject. In assertive sentences, we directly write from the main verb, and we use full stop in the end of the sentence. If the sentence is also negative, we use don't. And then main verb and then other part of the sentence. We can use please at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. Both are possible. So these are the examples of imperative sentences. Now let us see the next one. The next one is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences are the sentences which are used for strong feelings. Exclamatory sentences express the strong feelings. Sometimes because of the strong feelings we speak the sentences. If we have strong feelings, if we are astonished by seeing anything, at that time we use the exclamatory sentences. For example, wow, alas, hurrah, what a beautiful scene is this is. What a beautiful weather this is. So these kinds of sentences which came out from our mouth because of the sudden or strong feelings are called the exclamatory sentences. For example, how cold the night is. We also use the mark of exclamation in exclamatory sentences. Mark of exclamation. How cold the night is. We use the mark of exclamation in exclamatory sentences. And what a shame. What a shame. Mark of exclamation. So these are the examples of exclamatory sentences. Now let us see the last one, that is optative sentences. Optative sentence. Optative sentences are the sentences in which we express the prayer, the keen wish, the curse, etc. Optative sentences are the sentences in which we express the prayer, keen wish, or the curse, etc. So the sentences which are used for these kinds of feelings, these kinds of things are called the optative sentences. And most of the times we use may to make a optative sentence. And we also use mark of exclamation in optative sentences. That's why sometimes we also include the optative sentences into exclamatory sentences. If we are not going to divide the optative and exclamatory sentences with each other, then we will put the optative sentences into the exclamatory sentences. For example, may you live long. At the end we use mark of exclamation. So may you live long, this is a prayer. This is, here can say something in positive. We can say may God bless you. May God bless you. So these kinds of sentences which are used for prayer, for keen wish, for curse, etc., we use the optative sentences for those kinds of sentences. The sentences in which we use these kinds of feelings are called the optative sentences. And we also put mark of exclamation at the end of the optative sentence. Now let us see the last topic, last heading of this topic, question tag. Question tag. A question tag is a grammatical structure in which the declarative or assertive sentences put into a question, put into an interrogative fragment. A question tag is a grammatical structure in which declarative or assertive sentences put into a question into an interrogative fragment. For example, you like mangoes. Don't you? You like mangoes. The person know that this you like the mangoes. So the person is going to at first tell him that you like mangoes. Don't you? Then he is going to ask a question. Don't you? Don't you like the mangoes? It means the person knew that you like the mangoes. So this is not used for asking the question. This is only going to be used as the interrogative, here we can say interrogative fragment, for assertive things, for declarative things, for a part of a sentence which is declarative, but only for confirming it the person is going to ask a question. Although the affirmative, the assertive, the things that are done in assertive are true. You like mangoes, don't you? It means that the person likes the mangoes. The question is only asked for the confirmation and nothing else. See one more example. They are not tired. Are they? They are not tired. They are of people, of boys, girls, or some persons, and the person is asking about them. They are not tired. They are not tired. Are they? Now he is also going to ask the question. Although the meaning of this question is not interrogative, the meaning is assertive, like this. They are not tired. Are they? Are they tired? It means he knew that, the person knew that they are not tired. This is only asked, the question tags are only asked for the confirmation. Although he knew that they are not tired. So the things like that, if we are going to ask the things like that, we use the question tag. Means we always need the answer in affirmative, in assertive. So this is called the question tag. If the sentence is in assertive, we will use negative question tag. If the sentence is in negative, we will use assertive question tag. So this is the question tag. Now this topic is complete for today. My class is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.